to feel that actually it's already all right here, right now. Because otherwise we go through life always feeling that, okay, I don't feel completely all right yet. I first have to have my lunch, to eat something, or I first have to finish my emails, or I first have to do this, first have to do this. Only then can I feel that it's already all right here, right now. And to learn to make those little moments to feel like, okay, it's all good. Even sometimes if we don't feel okay, to become okay with not feeling okay. That's such an important thing, to feel okay with sometimes feeling also not okay. Like, all right, I feel a bit stressed out now. Okay, that's all right. I just feel it for a little moment. Or all right, I'm feeling a bit sad now. Okay, that's all right. Just feeling it. So that you create a little bit of space within, right? It is something that is so important. Now, is there, in the session, I'm going to go through some questions if you might have some, but also maybe some of you would like to share a little insight that you had that might be also inspiring for others on their journey of doing their practice, or maybe some questions about the practice, whether you're doing it all right or not, or if you're feeling, for example, with meditation, sometimes people feel that it's kind of hard to just focus because the mind is going all over the place, how that is going. So feel free to either wave your hand or unmute yourself if you want, if you have something to share or want to have a question, or you can put it in the chat. Hello, Rob. Let me see. Once, yes. Namaste, Rob. Good to see you.
Namaste.
Hello.
Hi. With the yogic breathing, the three-step breathing, you talk about bringing the awareness right up to the sort of third eye point. When I do this, I actually feel the breath and energy rise, and I get like a very temporarily like a band of pain, or more like a band of pressure, which
Mm-hmm.
is a little tiny little bit painful. But then when I then relax and I breathe that all out, that sort of band of pressure and slight pain that goes away. Is that normal?
Well, it is normal if the systems are still a little bit blocked. In the yogic system, you have these different energy centers, energy points. You know all about this, these chakra energy points. And if things are not really, let's say open, or a bit blocked, or a bit stuck, also some mental things maybe a bit stuck, then you can feel light pressure. Sometimes people feel when they're meditating, they feel a lot of the tension around the heart, for example, around the heart center, around the heart chakra. Other people sometimes feel in their throat, they feel something is blocked. Other people feel it like yourself at the third eye center. With doing these types of breathing, where you start to circle the breath, you bring it up, and then with the exhalation down again, with the inhalation up, you start to move this energy, so to say. You start to move your awareness through these different energy centers, these different energy points. From your foundation, it's very important to also connect with your foundation, with your root, to feel, okay, I'm breathing into that, to bring it up towards the heart, to feel like, okay, you can bring your awareness also in the heart. Sometimes there can be some emotions that are stuck there, sometimes a bit of tension, sometimes some sadness, sometimes some anger. To feel it, to start to open it up, and then bring it up towards your third eye center, so to say. And in that movement, sometimes you can feel something is blocked. Always do it gently. With all these practices, with the breathing practices, with the yoga asana practices, do it friendly. Do it with that you can do it with a little mini smile. Instead of doing it like, I gotta breathe up, oh now I feel tension, I gotta push through the tension or something like that. That's just one part of the self than fighting with another part of the self. And this brings duality. We don't want to bring duality, we want to bring unity, we want to bring harmony into our system. So if you feel it's very uncomfortable to do it much more light, do it much more gentle, do it much more soft, do it more friendly, and don't force all these things.
I don't struggle. It comes up really easily, and it's amazing how I feel it rise and to go to uh from one dancing to the other, and it's the feeling is amazing. But by the time it reaches the sort of third eye point, I know that it's not a serious condition because it's only temporary. Because when I then release, that,
Mhm.
that releases with it. But it's just like a little band of not it's tiny little bit painful. Maybe painful is the wrong word, but
Yeah, yeah,
I can
yeah. A bit
feel
of tension. You feel a high
the pressure
tension
there.
in there. Yeah, a high pressure. Yeah, and yeah, just make sure that you do it in a very soft, gentle, kind, friendly way with a little mini smile. If there's, try to do it to a point where you don't feel it gets anything towards uncomfortable. If it gets uncomfortable, bring the breathing a bit less high up and doing it like that. And very importantly, as I mentioned before, make sure that you also connect with your roots, with your foundation. Sometimes people think nowadays that it's all about bringing the energy up, raising the kundalini, bringing everything up, and this can bring a lot of instability in their emotional system, in their mind, because if you only want to activate only upwards, so to say, where is your mind, your brain, your spiritual center, so to say, and not connecting also just with the roots, just being here, just feeling here and now, being in this world, you get to be very unbalanced. And sometimes people, if they practice too much of the powerful breathing things in yoga, asana practice, they get an unstable mind, restless mind, unstable emotional system. And I've even met people, I think you mentioned that also sometimes out of your own experience, where
Yeah.
you start to feel very emotionally very unbalanced and almost, how would you call it, that your mind just pretty
Yeah,
much.
like last year, as you know, I had a really sort of bad experience with sort of, Kundalini energy rising. But this is totally different. I mean, this is so gentle. And I'm really grounded. It comes up so gently. And it's a really nice feeling when it comes up. But it's only when it reaches that sort of third eye point that I get this little bit of pressure by there. Maybe I'll just try and keep it down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, just
Uh,
don't put the pressure up too much. Just connect with all the centers. So Rob, all the best with that. All the best with that. Yeah, wonderful. Anyone else has maybe a question about the practice or wants to share something? Otherwise, I'll just keep on talking about other things. Okay. So what I would like to then talk about to help you in deepening your practice is basically also about this, that doing a lot of the strong spinal breathing every day, but trying to make now your practice a little bit more gentle and recognizing that you don't have to do so much breathing, you don't have to force anything so much before you can go into a deep relaxing state. Because what can happen otherwise, as I mentioned before, if you do only the stimulating breathing techniques and every day more, sometimes people think they want to do more rounds of the strong spinal breathing so that they start to feel a little bit high, of changing the neurochemistry in their brain, of hyperventilating so much. And it does give a kind of high. Sometimes for people it can feel a little bit of uncomfortable, maybe sometimes even a bit of anxious. try just to do it a bit more soft. Because if you get better at all these pranayama practices, all these breathing practices, then you'll see that with less you can do a lot more. Less is more. So just doing a bit less forceful, a bit less deep, maybe a bit less rounds, and noticing that it's all actually about just balancing your breathing, calming down your breathing, slowing everything down so that your whole nervous system will become a little bit more calm. Your whole, how the neurons are firing together in your brain, how the emotional system, how it's all these different emotions that are kind of lightening up when you do those breathing practices. That you actually bring everything, calm everything down, so that you can sit with yourself with calm breathing. That it's not about being able to sit still because you feel so many spectacular feelings and sensations and things because you've done so much hyperventilating, but that you can sit with yourself because you build up a kind of space within, a kind of acceptance of, okay, I feel now the breathing softly going in and out. I feel maybe there is still a bit of a restless mind, but it's all right. I can calm it down with some slow breathing. And like that, you start to smoothen things out within, smoothen things out until you can sit with the moment just as it is, with the calm breathing, and everything starts to balance out within. Okay. So Sila also says here in the chat that she found that rushing the process with the stronger breathing techniques activates my fight and flight system. Activates very much the sympathetic nervous system, and for sure that can happen with these strong breathing techniques. And if you only focus on the strong breathing techniques, then sometimes people missing out a little bit on the point of doing these practices. It's not about getting yourself high with over breathing or something like that. These strong breathing techniques, they open things up. They start to move things. They start to unblock things. But then it's about calming also everything down. You bring things up to the surface, but then learning to just sit with it, just calming down your breath, opening up your awareness to it, so things can start to move, can start to clean out, and then further on in your practice, you don't have to do so much strong breathing anymore. You can just sitting. Now it doesn't even really matter how you're sitting, or just sitting calmly, merging your awareness with what is now. Okay. Now, in this practice, what will happen when we do every day, we're becoming very much more aware of our emotional states. We're becoming much more aware of our mind. We're becoming much more aware of things happening in our life. And sometimes people can feel after doing that, now for about 10 days or a week or 2 weeks, that you actually become more aware of how much things that are happening within, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. It's a little bit like when you have a house with many rooms in it and you decide to do a big cleaning, and then you are taking everything out of the rooms. You put it out in the garden, and maybe you're halfway your cleaning process and everything is out, and you think like, oh man, so much stuff I've been gathering over the years, all this mess, all these things that I actually don't need. Man, what have I started? So much crap that I've been accumulating in the past time of my life. So then it's of course about keeping the process of the cleaning happening. Okay, you're more aware now of maybe how much things there are within yourself that need to be cleaned out. Maybe you're more aware of also in your life that there are some things in your ways of dealing with people, in dealing with situations in your life that are maybe not very fruitful for yourself, but you got yourself entangled with. You're just more aware of it now, but it's through the awareness now that things can start to change. So just keep going with the practices, yeah? And try to see that everything that comes up to the surface now, also in relationships that you have with other people, in your ways how you interact, in your ways, in a way how your interaction of communication, of energy, how that is settled with people, that you become aware like, hey, actually I feel a lot of tension when I'm in this or that situation, when I'm with this or that person. I'm more aware of that right now. Be grateful for the moment when you become aware of this tension, instead of feeling like, now I feel so much tension, and then you start to go into that old pattern of blaming the other person or blaming yourself for what you did, or blaming, shaming, whatever it is. To just become aware like, I see now, I'm aware that there's actually a lot of tension, or maybe there's a lot of impatience within me, or there's a lot of frustration within me, or sadness. Good, you're aware of it now. But instead of going into old routines, now you have hopefully changed your mental and awareness behavior, that you become aware of it, you see what it does within the body, what tension it gives, and that you start to make choices, not out of the frustration, not out of the anger, not out of the sadness, not out of the emotions, but you start to make choices of what you feel is really the right way to live, the right thing to do. So that you can step out of certain patterns of interactions, step out of certain patterns of behavior you have with yourself, with other people, and situations in your life. Okay? And to come back to that cleaning of the house, sometimes we have also certain parts of the house, certain rooms that are maybe there is a very strong smell coming out of that room. And we rather not look into that room, we rather not see what is in there, but maybe there has been some garbage rotting away, and we've been trying to keep the door closed, but maybe the smell has been actually penetrating into the whole house and not making it comfortable for ourselves to just be in our house, to just be with ourselves, because there's constantly that smell of something that is not right in one of the rooms. So to now have hopefully the courage to, okay, let me see, what is that thing which is actually bugging me in my subconscious? What is that normally, if I'm with myself alone for more than an hour maybe, and I start to feel like, I feel a bit of restlessness, a bit of agitation, I don't like to sit with myself, I don't like to be alone, or something like that. What is that feeling actually? That you learn to come face to face with, and again, let the light of awareness do the cleaning of that part of the self that we don't rather not want to feel, rather not want to see, right? So that like that, we start to bring the awareness to every corner of ourselves, so that the light of awareness can be at all parts of ourselves, in all parts of the mind, all parts of the heart. Do you guys follow a little bit what I'm trying to say here? Okay, good, wonderful. And then, and lastly, before we do a little bit of an intention setting again, hopefully starting to live life in a bit of a more profound way, so to say, not just blindly falling from one situation into the other, and well, I don't know how it got here, I don't know why this is happening, I don't know what is happening now, I just go with whatever comes. That you see every situation that you're in as a new learning experience. what the mind labels as negative, I don't like it, this is not good, it maybe starts to blame him, her, or this or that, or yourself, and also the positive, good things where you feel good. To, in every moment, see like, here is something to experience, to learn. Not necessarily that when something negative happens that you go too much in a mind mode, thinking like, this happened because last year I was not so nice to somebody, and now it's happening to me. But just to open up to the experience of, okay, now something not so nice is happening to me. What am I actually experiencing? What am I actually feeling? And maybe then the insight does come up, like, maybe I can change a bit my own behavior. Or, if you're being maybe cheated by somebody, try to fill in the blanks yourself. Try to think with me here. But if you're maybe cheated by somebody, that you realize how important it is to be honest. Okay, almost like this was a lesson for me in my life to learn. I try to always be honest with other people or with other things, just to try to make every situation in your life a learning experience, that it becomes a more profound thing, life. A beautiful journey of constantly evolving, constantly growing as a soul, as a spirit, instead of just blindly falling from one puddle into the other. Okay, good. So friends, any other questions, anything to add? Okay. In that case, do you have a pen and paper ready? Otherwise, you can also just type it in. We're gonna write down just 3 questions to kind of set an intention again for this coming week of some things that we want to cultivate more within ourselves. And with a lot of these writing questions also that will come up throughout the course, sometimes you repeat questions, but this is a good thing to keep repeating for yourself what it is that you want to cultivate in your life. So the first question is, what is it, what quality within yourself do you still find is not really serving you? Maybe there is a bit of impatience within you, maybe no self-acceptance, maybe there is even self-blame, self-hatred, those kind of things. What are some things that you feel like, okay, this is something that still can use a bit of a cleaning up? Maybe more discipline. All right. Now then, the next question will be, what would be the opposite of it? What is it that you want to cultivate in your life more? If you feel, impatience, obviously, it would be to cultivate more patience. If it would be a lack of self-love, you want to cultivate more self-love. What are the qualities that you feel like, okay, this I want to cultivate more in my life? All right. Then describe in just a couple of sentences, it's the last question, uh, how you would live your life if you would have more of these qualities. Try to describe yourself, your life, if you had more of these qualities. If you would be more loving, more kind, more patient, what kind of person would you be? How would you live? Now, this last question was, in a way, a very important one, because what we're gonna do is to take a little moment to kind of create that state of being. So let's say for myself, if I want to be a very patient, loving, um, kind soul, spirit, what I can hopefully, what you can hopefully learn to do then is to use the power of your imagination, the mind, the heart, to imagine, for example, okay, how would it feel to feel really so patient, so calm? How would it feel to feel deeply in peace with myself, or to feel deeply in peace with the situation? And maybe I can imagine, like, how would that feel? How would that emotion, that state of being feel? Like, ah, would feel like this, or It would feel like that. Or if I want to feel more life energy or more connectedness with the divine, like how would that feel to feel more alive? Like, that's how it would feel. This is a very, very important power that you can hopefully start to develop in these coming weeks, or just to feel joyful in the moment, to be okay with what is, to imagine the emotion, not just with the mind, not just with the imagination. You maybe have to imagine a certain situation where you felt really at peace or where you felt really happy, but starting to use the power of your emotional system also to imagine it with your heart, with your emotions. How would that emotion feel like? It would feel like that. And hopefully you will become good at it, that you can start to kind of breathe it in. You breathe it from the belly up to the heart. You feel that state of okayness. And on the exhalation, it's like you spread that out into your whole system, as if the whole nervous system, your whole body, every cell, start to feel that that is the reality right here, right now, so that you start to reprogram your own mind, your own heart, your own body. So one very important part of this course, I mentioned this already in the past week, is to learn to feel whatever is there, the sadness, the joy, the pain, the grief, the happiness, all the emotions. One part is very important, to just learn to feel it with acceptance, not trying to change anything. But once we become good at that, and let the light of awareness do the balancing, do the transformation, we will also learn not just to be the observers, but also to be the creators. We are both in this life. We observe life, but we also partly create life. There's many things in life that we cannot create, that's out of our control for sure. But we have to also learn to create what is within our own system, to learn to influence and create. So therefore, what we're going to do, after taking some nice calm breaths, to imagine these states of being, and then taking time to let everything settle. But learning to breathe from your foundation, from the belly, a sense of, it all starts, hopefully you have been doing it every day, to practice gratitude when you are having your meal in front of you, when you are just able to feel the sunlight in your face, if the sun comes out again, especially in the north of Europe, when there's not so much sun, to feel like, oh wow, the sunshine, or just to feel the wind, or sometimes even just a bit of the raindrops. Wow, to become grateful for everything, to practice gratitude, because this is the foundation of this practice also, that you first learn to just be grateful with being, with sitting, with breathing, and then from that foundation of being okay with what is, we breathe up towards the heart, and we generate that state of, for example, I feel okay with what is. I feel more at peace with myself. Okay, maybe you have to use imagination for it, to imagine yourself when you were in a moment of deep peace, when you, how that would feel like, how that would look like, but to feel like, okay, and then to breathe it on the exhalation out into your whole state of being. Then we're going to also breathe it up to our third eye center, to breathe it out into our future self. Because when we can have a picture of ourselves, of our future, of what direction we want to take our actions and flow in time, then we start to channel our life, our actions, our situations towards a certain state of life, towards a certain state of being. It's not anymore that blind, just going wherever life takes me. And sometimes we bring ourselves into negative situations also, because we have a lot of negative stuff still stuck in our imagination, in our mind, in our emotional system. But to clean that out and to start to become clear, okay, what is it that I want to cultivate in my life? More peace, more love, more joy, or whatever it is. Okay, everybody follows more or less? Good, okay. So let's just take a little moment, friends, to move a bit the body, just about 3 minutes, just shortly. So come up into a standing position. Okay. Okay. Shake everything out a little bit. Ah, nice. We dance a bit, right? It's always good to do. Ah, shake the legs out, shake the arms out. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. Breathe in, shake out, exhale. Breathe in, shake out, exhale. Breathe in. Beautiful. Take a nice deep breath in, stretch out from one side to the other. Beautiful. Take a nice deep breath in. Inhale, push the palms out, lengthen the crown of the head up. Exhale, release back. Inhale, push out, push out, push out. Exhale, release. Inhale, lengthen the neck, push the feet down. Exhale. 2 more breaths. It stretches out the whole nervous system, lengthen out the spine, release. The stretching and releasing moves like a pump, the energy system. Last deep breath in and out. Good. Widen the legs. Let's bring the arms up. Just 5 deep breaths. Some strength, some openness, reaching up with the arms. The fingers are active, the wrists are active. The whole body is joining in. Beautiful. Nice deep breath in. Come up. Exhale, interlock the fingers, head down. Bend one knee, bring the head down to the toes on the one side. The head to the toes on the other side, and like that, going from side to side a couple of times to open up a little bit more the inner thighs. Good, with the head down for just 3 more last deep breaths. Good. Slowly come up, feel the body. Wonderful. So coming again to comfortable sitting position. You can sit cross-legged if you want. You can just sit on a chair. It's all good. All right. So you can place your hands on top of each other. Let me just and like this. You let the hands just rest down with the spine nice and straight. And with the eyes closed, take a little moment to just center yourselves. Make a little scan through the body. You feel the different face muscles, relax them. Feel your shoulders, your arms, your hands. Become aware of the chest and the different parts of the chest and the heart area. Like for a little moment you become aware of it. Like, I recognize that part of the body also. I feel you. I know you're there. Like that also for the heart and the belly. Like you make a little smile, you feel the heart, the belly. I can feel you. I know you're there. All good. Feeling the buttocks and the legs, the feet. Then taking a couple of slow, calm, kind of friendly breaths. Like you make a little mini smile. Like you breathe to your foundation, to the lower parts of your abdominal area. Like with every inhalation you feel a expansion in this area. You're connecting with your roots, with a sense of it's all right. Right here, right now, just sitting, just breathing. It's all good. And for just a couple more breaths like this. Trying to generate a sense of like gratitude, like, okay, wonderful, I can do these practices, I can sit here, I can breathe. Like you become aware how every breath is kind of nurturing your body. Just to sit, to be alive. It's all right. We breathe slowly towards that lower abdominal area, and from there we breathe up a bit towards the heart, and there we make little mini smile, and then we hold for a little moment, and then we exhale, we relax the whole body. And after our inhalation, we bring the awareness around the heart, like we make a little mini smile with the heart of it's all right, it's all good. And we exhale that state out towards the tips of the fingers, the face, the feet. Now imagine for yourself that quality that you want to cultivate. If it would be more self-love, more kindness, more compassion, more peace, more energy, more joy. Try to imagine how would it feel if you would feel completely at peace. How would it feel? Like, yes, wonderful. It would feel like that. Try to generate it. On the inhalation, you make little mini smile, you feel it. And on the exhalation, you send it out into your whole nervous system, into your whole energy system. It's all right. Wonderful. Thank you. Try to keep your concentration like this for some more breaths. Use every single breath to generate that state, to merge your whole being into that state of it's all right, it's all good. Keeping that awareness, we're gonna bring the awareness now to the third and the last step. We breathe from our foundation, a sense of gratitude, up to the heart, that little mini smile, and we imagine ourselves, what we wrote down, how we would live if we would be more in line with what we want to cultivate, if we would have generated more inner peace, more kindness, more joy, more discipline, all these things. Imagine that as if you inhale it, and like a broadcasting tower, on the exhalation you exhale it out into your future also. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of making the right choices, the right habits, that quality can be fully cultivated in your life. And lastly, very importantly, imagine somebody that could also use a bit of this good energy, of this quality. Like you're not just cultivating it for yourself, but as if you can also imagine somebody that also can use it, as if you breathe it out towards that other person or more people. It's like we want to cultivate inner peace, love, wisdom within ourselves. But life is not just living for ourselves, it's also to be able to share what we have. So that on the exhalation, it's like, okay, may you also be able to cultivate inner peace, love, kindness within your life. May we all, myself and you, and may everybody be blessed with peace, with love, with wisdom. Now take a little moment to just relax. No more doing, no more trying. Just sitting, just breathing. Letting life happen. It's all good. For the last couple of moments, friends, if you want to move, you move a bit. If you don't want to move, you don't move. All good. Just relax for a little moment. Just feeling how life is already happening. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, just letting that breath flow in and out. One. Feel free to rub the hands together a bit. Place a hand on the belly, a hand on the heart. Like for a couple of calm breaths. One more time, setting that intention. Okay, may I be able to cultivate these qualities in my life. May I be able to cultivate inner peace, love, wisdom, kindness, joy. Take a little moment of gratitude. We can be able to do this, that we are able to do this. We're able to practice these techniques, have time for it. Wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Life, God, Great Spirit. Friends, thank you, thank you, thank you. Life, God, Great Spirit, for having another session all together. Thank you for being here, friends. May we all be blessed with peace, with love, with wisdom. Namaste. Good. So, friends, I hope at the end of your sometimes the breathing sessions that you have, if you sometimes feel that you're kind of, let's say, in the zone, or you're feeling like, hey, I can sit for a bit longer, even if the session is over, even if the bell has already gone, even if you just want to lay it back a little bit and just sit in that sense of, it's all right, it's all good, to really take time for that, because it's in those moments that real, on a deeper level kind of healing starts to happen, kind of balancing start to happen. And this is so important. And hopefully also throughout the day, making those little moments, even if it's just 2 breaths, or maybe even just 1 full conscious breath, to make a little moment of, it's all right, it's all right, just to be, just to breathe. Because the more we make those little tiny gaps of light, of these tiny gaps of just being fully present, the more we do that, the more we start to identify not just with the chaos of our mind and our restless emotion and situations in our life, but we start to identify with our source, with our foundation of being. Now, About the technique of breathing and imagining, there will be more sessions in the course coming up to explain more about it. But does somebody already have a question about this now? Okay. Hey, for some, I think for maybe quite a couple, it's really hard to imagine a certain emotion, imagine a certain feeling. It's just like playing the piano. In the beginning, you think, how on earth can you play a symphony or Bach, or and then you think like, wow, I already don't know how to control my fingers or something like that. Of course, it takes time. You first have to do it step by step, maybe just with 2 fingers. But it's like playing the instrument of the heart. It's a very beautiful, powerful instrument. It will take time, but hopefully you can start to make it a habit to everyday practice this. Because if you can harness the beautiful power of your mind, of your heart in this way, the beautiful opportunities and how you can start to flow with life is in so many beautiful ways, unimaginable. So friends, all the best. Feel free to unmute yourself to say goodbye to all the others as well. Wishing you lots of peace, lots of love, lots of wisdom. Hopefully you can keep up every day, taking those little moments throughout the day and doing the practice, that next week we can continue again. Peace and love, friends. All the best.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. Good luck for everyone.
Thank you, brother. Thank you all.
Thank you, Florian. Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste. Goodbye.
Thank you. See you next week.
See you next week.